This podcast is about the Tree-Mendous Christmas experience coming up at the Jasper County Historical Museum with our local historian who knows so much about what happened in Newton and Jasper County over the years, Larry Hurto. He'll also be talking about the Smithsonian Institution display that is coming to Newton in December that'll be held at the old Maytag headquarters building where the Chamber of Commerce is now housed in Newton. But first of all, a word from our sponsors, including Clement Mackey Insurance. And they are proud once again to be sponsoring the Maytag Park Holiday Lights. They'll be glowing brightly very soon. They're proud to be a part of this amazing event. And some helpful information about the event can be found at their Facebook page by linking to the City of Newton Maytag Park Holiday Lights post. And they want you to know that the Maytag Park Holiday Lights walkthrough is coming up on November 9th from 7 till 9 p.m. Mark your calendar for a magical evening at Maytag Park, a vehicle-free wonderland. Enjoy an enhancing and enchanting walk around the lights, sipping on hot cocoa and good times. It's open to all with free admission and optional free will donations to sustain the tradition. And then for cars to go through, it'll be opening up on November 30th from 6 till 8 p.m. You're invited to join the grand opening on November 30th from 6 till 8 p.m. presented by Clement Mackey Insurance. Celebrate the holiday spirit with this beloved community tradition. That's sponsored again by Clement Mackey Insurance in Newton, where your insurance policy comes with an agent. Also by Ryan's Tire and Auto in Newton. Hey, they won on the People's Choice Awards. Yes, you bet. The people of Newton love Ryan's Tire and Auto. They want to give out a huge thank you to everyone who voted for Ryan's Tire and Auto in the 2024 Reader's Choice Awards. They're honored to be awarded Favorite Jasper County Auto Service Station and Favorite Jasper County Tire Retailer. They say they are incredibly blessed to have the support of such an amazing community and loyal customers. Your trust and support mean the world to them, and they're committed to continuing to provide top-notch service every day. I went into Ryan's the other day just to say hi to Ryan, and man, they have all those tires stacked up outside their store. I said, this is a place you'll never get tired of at Ryan's Tire and Auto in Newton because they have them all there for you, all the name brands. So make sure you check them out. Also by Newton Clinic, a message to Medicare Advantage patients. If you have any questions regarding participation in Medicare Advantage, they ask that you please reach out to either the Medicare Advantage plans, local SHIP resources, or call the staff at 641-792-2112. That's 641-792-2112. And also by our friends at Advantage Credit Union.
Let us pay you for checking with us. Hi, this is Leslie with Advantage Credit Union, inviting you to take advantage of Cha-Ching Rewards checking. Earn 3% APY on balances up to $10,000. That's up to $25 per month that ACU pays you. No minimum balance, no monthly fees. Simply do the things you're already doing and cash in at the credit union. Apply online at acuiowa.org or visit us in downtown Newton.
APY is annual percentage yield. Restrictions apply. Federally insured by the NCUA.
This podcast is about things going on at the Jasper County Historical Museum. It's a great museum. If you've never been there, I want to encourage you to check it out. I found out about all the different washing machine manufacturers there were in Newton at one time through that place. And there's so much, especially for kids, to learn and get educated on about Newton and Jasper County at the museum. But they have a couple of big events going on here. And with me is longtime friend Larry Hurto, who I must say is a bit of an institution in Newton, Iowa.
Oh my gosh, Jamie, thank you.
Because of his knowledge about history and in Newton and Jasper County and surrounding areas. But we're going to talk, first of all, about the Tree-Mendous Christmas experience. This is, I understand, the fourth year that you put this on, right, Larry?
That's right. The Tree-Mendous Christmas experience is a holiday extravaganza, really. It is the brainchild of Dave Rorabaugh. Dave is a Newton man who formerly was president of the board of directors at the Jasper County Historical Society, and he thought that this would be a great way to generate a fundraising activity for the society. When you apply for grants and such in the museum setting, you can't get monies just to basically keep the lights on and so on. The monies have to be earmarked for a special cause. So we need to, in addition to taking memberships from the people who come to the museum, have monies that keep us operational. So in 2021, we came up with the idea for the first Tree-Mendous Christmas experience, and it was our plan to divide the museum into 10 sections with 10 lighted Christmas trees in each of those 10 sections. Well, Jamie, we ended up with 172.
Wow.
And then the second year, 237 trees.
It just keeps growing.
Right.
Yeah.
And I didn't get a count from last year. I haven't heard one for this year, but certainly there will be well over 200 lighted Christmas trees. And let me tell your listeners that if they have not seen this holiday event, it is really eye-knocking. I mean, spectacular in every way. We have so many wonderful volunteers that have been coming in for mostly the last month and a half to decorate these trees. Obviously, we have to start early.
Mm-hmm.
The Christmas committee has, some of your listeners may be surprised to know that our Christmas committee starts meeting in August.
Wow.
To plan this event. And that's how much prep work it takes. To get the event to where we want it to be. But it is absolutely taking shape in a big way. We have so many trees that are already decorated, and every year we get new people stepping forward and saying, hey, we'd like to come in and decorate a tree.
That leads me to my next question. Can you tell me about some of the businesses or groups that are decorating trees? I know I talked to Kaylee from the Newton Chamber of Commerce, and they were out decorating a tree the other day.
Wonderful, you bet. Each year we have solicited sponsors for the Tree-Mendous Christmas Experience event. And for a $500 donation, we have got area businesses to donate the monies that will give them a sign, a professionally made sign that we post throughout the museum, indicating that they are one of the sponsors of the event, and they have the option of decorating a tree as well. Some of the sponsors choose to do that. Others, they're pretty busy business people and so on. And so they say, that's all right. We're just happy to make the donation. But having said that, I also want to point out that the people have made other cash donations and in-kind donations in addition to the sponsorships. But we just have had tremendous financial backing from folks within Jasper County. And the number of volunteers that simply come in to decorate the trees. Last I knew, so far, I think 1,154 hours of volunteer time had been put into simply decorating the museum for this spectacular Christmas open house. And so we really hope that your listeners, if they have not seen this, will come and see us. It opens on Saturday, November 30th this year at 1 p.m. in the afternoon. We'll be open until 8 o'clock that evening. And we'll be open every weekend then throughout the month of December. Once again, Saturdays, 1 o'clock until 8 o'clock p.m. And Sundays will be open after lunch from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. And I do want to tell you, too, that we actually will be open on Christmas Day. Mm-hmm. A lot of folks, as you can probably surmise, once they get their family fed with a brunch or breakfast or whatever, and the presents get opened, folks are looking for something to do. So on Christmas Day, we'll be open from 1 to 4 on that afternoon as well. But we will be closed on Christmas Eve. A lot of folks.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. In years past, you've usually been closed on Christmas Eve,
yes.
But on Christmas Day, it's great. And you're encouraging groups to come also, right?
That's right. If you have a special group that maybe doesn't prefer to travel after dark, a lot of our museum goers are older persons and don't like to go out at night, then they're welcome to call the museum at 641-792-9118 to speak about arranging a special group visit. We do have that option available to folks as well. We have not mentioned the location of the museum, and so for any of your out of Newton listeners, let me cite that address. It's 1700 South 15th Avenue West here in Newton, Iowa. And once again, the phone number 641-792-9118. And let me reiterate, since this is a fundraiser for the Jasper County Historical Society to keep sustaining this wonderful museum that has been such an integral part of our cultural life here in Newton and in Jasper County since 1979. We certainly welcome free will donations at the door from anybody that comes to see the trees. And it's a magnificent, magnificent display.
Yeah, and it's growing every year, and it is fantastic. So come on out and support that, because it's wonderful, and support the museum. I've interviewed different curators from different museums over the years. The museum in Des Moines for the state of Iowa. I don't know if you know who Billy Bailey is, but she was in charge of the Grout Museum in Waterloo, and I lived there for a number of years.
I'm familiar with the Grout Museum, but I don't know Billy Bailey.
Yes.
That was my mother's maiden name.
Is that right?
Was a Bailey.
Well, small world. Well, she had said her dad was curator of the Jasper County Museum at one time, or chairman of the board. I don't know who that would have been, but he was very involved. I think this was probably about 10 years ago, something like that, with the Jasper County Museum.
Okay, well, we will have, we have a memorial room in connection with the museum, and we'll have some memorial trees decorated with ornaments for folks whose loved ones they hope to memorialize. And every year we have made a point to honor each of the former deceased directors of the Jasper County Museum with an ornament. So
that's fantastic.
We hope that the names that people see on the memorial trees will bring to mind some of the loved ones that the museum goers knew and whose company they enjoyed in years past.
Have you ever been to the Grout Museum?
No, never have.
Oh, you should go.
Oh,
you should go sometime.
Yeah.
No, it's not just a bunch of tile cement that you see when you walk in there. That's actually named after a long-distant relative of mine.
Oh, really?
And people in Waterloo did not know, really, that my last name was Grout, because I went by the name Jamie Phillips there.
Yes,
because Philip is my middle name.
Right. Sure.
And but Billy knew, and the other people there knew, and it was a great place to go. And over the last 15, 20 years or so, they have been very proud, well, not just the last 15, 20 years, but many years, of the Five Sullivan Brothers. In fact, they have a convention center there, the Five Sullivan Convention Center.
Indeed.
And they have a Veterans Sullivan Brothers addition to the Grout Museum that people should check out if they go. I mention this only because the podcast goes everywhere, all over the state, all over the nation.
Wonderful.
And if you haven't checked it out, you should. But one question I wanted to ask you that I've asked curators and people involved in museums, philosophical question, in your opinion, what makes a good museum?
Well, it's not an easy question to answer.
Well, that's Jamie. Why I throw them out there, Larry.
Put me on the spot here. Some museums just emphasize a certain topic. I happen to be a member of one out east in Maryland, and it is a former hotel building that belonged to a widow by the name of Mary Surratt. And it was at her boarding house in Washington, D.C., where the conspirators met that planned the initially kidnapping, but eventual murder of President Lincoln by
really?
John Wilkes Booth and his co-conspirators. And so that former hotel building has been preserved, has been restored, and of course, it. I want to be sure to emphasize it does not celebrate assassins.
Well, sure.
But it certainly holds up the tragedy connected with the last days of Abraham Lincoln's life and the history connected with that. So it's an exceptional museum, but it certainly is devoted to a single topic. And so,
it kind of reminds me, Larry, of the museum at the Texas Book Depository building
for
the JFK assassination. It's certainly not celebrating the assassination by any means, but it is very historical.
Yes, and both of those places, the Surratt Society Museum and the School Book Depository in Dallas, Texas, do need to remind us of the tragedy that the tragedies that occurred with the assassination of 2 U.S. presidents, but also they have outstanding research libraries for those who continue to delve into that topic. But a good museum, I think, is family friendly, and part of the reason I say that is we tend to think that most people that are interested in museums are senior citizens like thee and me. Mm-hmm. But there are so many things in our history that our up and coming generations, especially small children, have no good sense about. You and I would both marvel at the fact that we would have to explain to the younger generation the significance of the date 9/11. Mm-hmm. But it's true. Things out of the long ago get swept over as time marches on.
Gets forgotten.
And we need to hold up things that are significant in our history. Things that can be celebrated, but there is the expression that if we don't follow history, we'll be doomed to repeat some of the mistakes of the past if we don't study and delve into that history.
And I don't want to get into this too much, but I just want to mention also, and that's why people cherish your knowledge so much, Larry, because you educate people on things that they wouldn't have known otherwise. For example, about the Underground Railroad having come through this area. And we'll go back to that at a future time. But we need to move on and talk about the Smithsonian display that is coming to Newton. And it's not going to be held at the Historical Museum. The Historical Museum is kind of involved in it. And maybe you can talk a little bit to that, because I know there's a Preservation Society that is bringing them here. And it sounds like it's going to be very, very, very informational and quite eye-opening as to what it's going to be.
We were really fortunate. And Jamie, as you know, I chair the Newton Historic Preservation Commission, and for the commission to be offered this display from the Smithsonian Institution in Washington was something that we at once felt we could in no way pass up if there was some way that we could make that affordable to the people of Newton and Jasper County. Your listeners may not be familiar with the Smithsonian Institution. A British scientist by the name of James Smithson in 1829 left his fortune to, of all places, the United States government with the idea that an institution would be developed that would celebrate and preserve things scientific, educational, and cultural. And so that's what this organization does. And we felt so fortunate when we were informed that we had the opportunity to show a display that had originally been generated and curated by the staff of the Smithsonian Institution, the possibility of that coming to Newton, Iowa. Because as far as I know, we have never, ever had in our community a display from that institution. The topic that this will center around is entitled Spark, and it is a celebration of innovation and the inventive mind. And Jamie, what better place than Newton, Iowa?
Well, sure.
For a display of that nature to be had with this terrific reputation that Newton had for so many years as Iowa's washer city. F.L. Maytag, the founder of the Maytag Company, is perhaps the most renowned of those folks who had the ability to attract to this community prominent inventors and people whose ideas sparked remarkable inventions.
Yeah, F.L. Maytag gets the credit for it, but it's the people behind the scenes that really helped to modernize the washer and dryer and appliance industry.
That's exactly right. And again, I would say perhaps nobody more than F.L. Maytag was the man who was the champion locally of being able to identify persons that he recruited to come here to innovate and enhance this industry. Again, I appreciate why Newton has been renowned as Iowa's washer city, but I've also seen once upon a time there was a sign posted on one of the entrances to our town. I forget whether it was the east or west side, but it said, "Welcome to Newton, the workshop of Iowa." And I like that even better because it doesn't limit us to just the washing machine industry, which of course we definitely have reason to celebrate. Mr. Maytag actually started out selling and then manufacturing agricultural implements. And it wasn't until 1907 that he had his thumb in the pie that brought out the first washing machine that he called the Pastime. And again, that was in the year 1907. But yet, the washing machine industry is indeed something that we've probably been most renowned for over a period of years. And I think that's appropriate because in 1961, a man named Ivan F. Woodrow published a series of articles in our newspaper, the Newton Daily News, that he titled "A Century of Industrial Progress in Newton." And that later was published in booklet form in 1961. And it's a wonderful little publication. They do have copies that can be checked out, available at the Newton Public Library. But Mr. Woodrow pointed out that as much as we should credit F.L. Maytag and his colleagues for making us world famous, really, that the very earliest washing machine was built at what is now 608 First Avenue West, which is a house in the west residential district of the city of Newton that is listed on the National Register of Historic
Oh, is that
Places.
right? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
We now have 2 residential districts on First Avenue West and First Avenue East.
Oh, no kidding.
That since 2020 have been listed on the National Register of Historic Places. But this particular place, 608, was where a former creamery had been operated. But there was a man, interestingly enough, a billiard parlor operator, a pool hall man. He had his pool hall on the northwest corner of the square. His name was W.H.L. King. And about 1885, he generated the first washing machine ever made in Newton, Iowa.
Okay.
And he called it the Whirl, W-H-I-R-L. And I want to tell you, Ken Barthelman, a former director of the Jasper County Historical Museum, surmised that perhaps he called this early model of a washing machine the Whirl as a play on his initials, the W-H.
Oh, sure.
L, W-H-I-R-L.
Oh, very clever.
We have no proof of that. But Ken, in his research, was able to find that as late as 1927, the Whirl was still being offered for sale in the catalogs, I suppose, like the Sears Roebuck catalog and so on and so forth. They have an example of it out at the Jasper County Historical Museum, and it's a very primitive thing. Jamie, we're going back to before your time, but in days past, it used to be that Mondays were wash days in folks' homes, and then on Tuesday, they did the ironing. Well, in this very primitive example of a washing machine, this pioneer Whirl that W.H.L. King invented, you basically had a cradle type of operation that was corrugated and it was self-agitated. You rocked it, you stuffed your dirty garments into soapy water underneath this rocking device, and then self-agitated to rid the garment of dirt and whatever. And it occurred to me, although I have no way of knowing this, but after wash day, you could rock the baby in the thing.
Okay.
So we could argue that it had multiple uses. Something that I found very interesting is that starting about 1880 and later, Mr. King must have kind of backed away from his pool hall business because he was spending enormous amounts of time going back and forth to Dakota Territory. This is before North and South Dakota became states in 1889. And I can't help but think that W.H.L. King was taking his newly invented washing machine, examples of it, and selling it to the pioneers of Dakota Territory. Isn't that something?
That is, yeah.
I haven't found documentation for that, but he had one daughter that I know permanently settled in Dakota Territory. She became a superintendent of schools there. And but he was constantly, over a period of a few years, going back and forth between Newton and Dakota Territory. Something interesting to think about.
I want to jump in. Now, I understand that this Smithsonian display is going to be at Legacy Plaza.
Yes, that's right. Building 20 in an area that they call the gallery.
Okay.
Is going to be where that is exhibited. And if you go into the entrance, and 20 is the building that's just adjacent to the headquarters building, the administrative office building.
Okay.
And if you go through the front door of Building 20, you'll see that gallery just on the right. Once you go through, I think, a pair of double doors.
Okay. So I'm looking at the office building, the headquarters building, and then on the other side is the Legacy Plaza. I guess it's all Legacy Plaza, but the old Plant One, if you know what I'm talking about there.
Sure.
Is it in the old office building, or is it in the Legacy Plaza?
No, it would be in the office.
In the office building,
yeah,
okay. And when will this start anyway, Larry?
Well, the exhibit arrives in Newton on December 14th.
Okay.
So again, we're talking about just 10 days before the Christmas holiday. Also happens to be my birthday, Jamie. What do you think about that?
Your December birthday. So is my sweetheart, Little Red, Lynette.
Oh.
She's on the 21st.
Well.
So I got to ask you, Larry, now for Christmas, one combined present for Christmas and your birthday, or two separate presents for your birthday?
Well, that's up to the giver.
Is it? Okay, because Lynette, it's got to be two different.
Yeah.
And our anniversary is also on that day.
Okay.
So So you're I think you're a fellow Sagittarius.
Yes,
I'm not sure.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Your listeners are maybe getting more information than they ever bargained for. But anyway, the Spark display arrives in Newton on December 14th.
And it's about innovation.
Right. And there's also going to be a wonderful event going on just across the hall that Newton Main Street is doing. It's a holiday marketplace.
Okay.
That, when folks aren't enjoying the Smithsonian display,
and that'll be in the office building also.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, right across the hall there. But anyway, it is because of the busyness of Christmas time. And we talked about the Tree-Mendous Christmas experience, which opens on November 30th. And then here 2 weeks later, this Smithsonian exhibit arrives in Newton. And it will take us some time to assemble it. A number of us from the Newton Historic Preservation Commission traveled to Grinnell to help unload and put together the display there. They were first exhibiting in Grinnell at the old Spalding building plant. And I might say that it is thanks to the generosity of Grinnell College that the expenses involved with getting the display to us are being borne by Grinnell College.
Well, that's very nice. They're very generous.
We're grateful for that.
And they really contribute to the community. And as I think you might remember, I did a podcast about the Grinnell Museum that is being built, I believe, across the street from the old museum. It's more handicap accessible. There's more space, and they want to do that too. So, it's something that I guess needs to be done, but there's some sentimentality with that old building also. I understand that. So, Larry, as we wrap up this podcast, let's again talk about the Jasper County Historical Museum's 4th annual Tree-Mendous Christmas Experience.
Well, once again, Jamie, if your listeners have not been out to the Jasper County Historical Museum to see this Tree-Mendous, I can't emphasize it enough, display of lighted, decorated Christmas trees. It's simply unforgettable. It's something that I know all members of the family would enjoy. I remember last year we even had little toddlers and babes in arms. So, the lights were something very appealing.
I bet they were pretty wide-eyed and fascinated by it.
Absolutely. Last year and again this year, we're going to have like some tunnels that they can crawl through, that type of thing.
Oh, how fun.
And of course, we have 2 floors of decorated trees. There is other Christmas memorabilia on display, and certainly we would encourage people to bring their pocket devices. They're welcome to take pictures of anything that they like, and I know there will be so much that they'll find unforgettable. It's a labor of love on the part of the Jasper County Historical Society and its many volunteers, and we are just so grateful that for the interest that has been shown, and it's growing every year. Once again, over 1,300 people came out to see the display last year, and we do welcome anybody and everybody from Jasper County, but as far as this goes, you have quite an outreach. I mean, we could be bringing people in from
Germany or Australia. You never know. You never know. So, Larry, tell us again now the starting date, the ending date, and the hours in between.
Okay, we'll be opening on Saturday, November 30th, and we'll conclude on December the 29th. So it'll be every weekend on Saturday and Sunday. The museum will be open from 1 to 8 p.m. on Saturdays and from 1 to 4 p.m. on Sundays. And also, let me reiterate that we'll be open on Christmas Day from 1 p.m. until 4 p.m. And the museum is located at 1700 South 15th Avenue West in Newton, Iowa. And the phone number there, if your listeners would like more information, is 641-792-9118.
All right.
And we welcome any and all free will monetary donations from those who come to see the displays. That helps us to keep the museum open during its regular season from May through September of each year.
And it's very easy to get to right off Interstate 80 and Highway 14 right there at the intersection. And as far as the Smithsonian display, that's going to be at the old Maytag office building, same building that the Newton Chamber of Commerce is in right now. You'll be announcing the opening date for that real soon. It'll be on social media, and we should be able to let folks know when they can check out that whole thing.
Right, you are. And we appreciate, as always, being invited to be on your podcast, Jamie.
Thank you, Larry.
Gosh, you always make us feel so very welcome. And we have certainly a couple of very exciting events to share with you today.
Well, thanks for keeping history alive in Jasper County and bringing so much to our attention.
My pleasure, Mr. Grout.
Okay, Mr. Hurto. Our interview guest today on Out and About with Jamie Grout is Larry Hurto, talking about the Tree-Mendous Christmas experience going on at the Jasper County Historical Museum and the Smithsonian display coming to the old Maytag office building. It's now the one that stores the Chamber of Commerce in Newton, and that'll be announced a little bit later on as to when that's going to be opening up, but I'm sure that will be very fascinating also. You can check out the shortcast video of this on our website, outandaboutwithjamiegrout.com. This podcast also sponsored by the gang at Johnson Aviation. Ethan and his wife would love you to come on out and say hi to them, like the kids did from the Early Learning Center. You betcha. Just the other day, they were out there reading books to them. This is the Loving Hands Early Care and Education Center that visited Johnson Aviation. They read to the kids, and it's so much fun for them, and they look forward to it every year. This year's book was Little Dragon's First Day, and the book is illustrated by aviation artist David Gray, whose artwork is in their wall, and also his wife Marie, who wrote the adorable children's book. And a few days ago, they either inspired future pilots or future dragons. Either way, they're sure enjoyed the reading to the kids, and the kids enjoyed watching the planes take off and learning about the airport at Johnson Aviation on Rusty Wallace Drive in Newton. Give them a call at 641-792-1292, 641-792-1292. Also by the gang at the Salvation Army in Newton, they're looking for bell ringers for the Red Kettle campaign. I was out at the Newton Hy-Vee the other day ringing bells. I'll probably go out a few more times here before the season's over with. Yeah, the season is underway right now because the need is great, and they would love you to come on out and ring bells for them. And if you want to register to ring bells, just go to registertoring.com, registertoring.com, and you'll feel good about it. I know the Newton Rotary Club will be ringing bells on December 20th and 21st, and hope you'll come on out for that. Also Out and About with Jamie Grout is sponsored by the fine folks at Newton KOA. That's Newton, Des Moines East KOA to be specific. We'll be hearing about their handyman service in just a couple of moments. Also by Joel Shields, who is Medicare supplement insurance agent in Newton. He took good care of me. He'll take good care of you too. Joel Shields, give him a call at Interstate Insurance Services in Newton and find out about Medicare supplements. Also by the Pizza Ranch in Newton and our newest sponsor, West Side Java in Newton. Make sure you head on over there and enjoy a good cup of coffee or maybe a latte or espresso at West Side Java. They have a convenient drive-through in their alley. You can go there and if you're in a big hurry, get your fill of whatever you need to wake you up in the morning there at West Side Java, or go inside and enjoy the fine company of the folks there at West Side Java. Bring a friend too and have fun. I went out there just this morning and had a cup of hot chocolate and a cookie, and it was delicious at West Side Java. We're with Dana from Newton, Des Moines East KOA. And Dana, I understand you have a new service you're offering.
Yes, we do, Jamie. We are introducing our new Newton KOA handyman service. Is one of the services that we're adding. We have workers that have worked at our camp every season, and they would like to work for us through the winter. So we came up with they came up with our Newton KOA handyman service, where they're willing to come to your home, clean out your garage, clean any part of your home that needs cleaning, or your yard, take trash to the dump, do some lawn care and cleanup, basic home repairs, excluding electrical and mechanical stuff that requires a licensed person. We don't do that, but they'll also hang your holiday lights and put up Halloween decorations. And we can also do auto detailing. One of the guys that we have does auto detailing. And even one of our guys is a seamstress. He's great at sewing. So if you need anything sewn, our Clarence can take care of that for you as well.
That's great, man. They sound like a jack of all trades.
That's right.
And master of all, I'm sure.
Exactly. We have Moses, who is great at tree work and brush work, so he can take down smaller trees. If it requires a lift, he'll let you know what he can and can't do on the tree end of things. And then Clarence, of course, he's a well-rounded, and Jeff does the auto detailing, and so does Clarence. We call it from mess to masterpiece. We can make it happen.
Well, that sounds fantastic. Yeah, you have a lot of stuff going on there, and some people who can do things. And you, I think, had mentioned to me before about Christmas lights. If you're a person that doesn't want to get up on the ladder and whatnot, and worry about heights and things like that, but yet want to be very festive for Christmas, the handyman service will take care of that for you too, right?
It's perfect for that. For example, my husband just rolls his eyes when I say we should put Christmas lights up this year, because that is not something that he relishes doing. And but I like having Christmas lights up. So for our reasonable rates, it's a great deal to have our guys come out and put your Christmas lights up.
All right, fantastic. Anything else you want to add?
No, most of the work can be done on Wednesdays or Thursdays, so we can schedule it. We do have a 2-hour minimum for 2 guys required, and we are discounting our rate for our first 10 jobs that we take. So if you're hearing about this and you need your garage cleaned out so you can park your car in the garage this winter, please give us a call at 641-792-2428.
Give us that number one more time.
641-792-2428.
Thanks, Dana. Until next time, grrr, out is out. See ya.